Morning, everyone. Good morning. Boy, I lost track of time a little bit there. I was just posting on my Meditation and Mindful Moments group on Facebook, and lo and behold, I looked at the time and I was 1 minute behind. I apologize. Hope you can forgive me. Let's give it another minute and a half or so, and we'll start the meditation. Okay. Thanks for joining this morning. Thank you. And for those of you joining out there right now, I started a minute late, so we'll just give it a little bit more time, maybe another half minute or so, and we'll start the meditation. Thanks for joining this morning. I greatly appreciate that. It's nice having you on board with the meditation. In fact, um, so Friday, I was going to meditate for those of you who are trying to join. Let's see, no, not Friday, Saturday morning. Um, give you just a short story here. We went over to South Haven to visit my mom because she's staying in Holland, Michigan, but her home is in South Haven, and we went there to stay there, which we always do. And we got in there. I go to switch the light on, no light, and so I am like, oh, let me try. Maybe the bulbs burn out. I tried the other one. I'm like, rut I don't think we have any power. And then we're smelling the house. It smells all stinky. Everything in the refrigerator had gone bad. I think the power actually had been out for probably close to a month, is my recollection. I think what might have happened. And turns out when the utility bill doesn't get paid, it turns out that they don't give you the water and the electricity. So I'm not sure where we all have a bit involved with it. My sister, my brother, and then the mail actually had there was two or three utility bills in the mail, and the mail's supposed to get forwarded to my sister. So it was kind of a mess. So we had to get a hotel and find a place that was pet friendly for our puppy, and so it was quite the little experience there. And I tried to meditate at the hotel on Saturday morning, and the Wi-Fi was horrible. So I noticed I got my meditation in, and I thought you all had joined me, but 7 minutes into it, it failed, and my eyes were closed, and I was off and running with my meditation. So, any case, enough words. In any case, that's what happened. Sorry for the mishap on Saturday, but I'm super happy to be back here meditating with all of you. Thank you for joining. So let's meditate. So just allowing your wonderful body to just relax into this present moment in whatever you're sitting or lying on, and just taking in a nice deep breath. And on the out breath, just let go. Just let go. Let go, let go, let go. There's nothing you need to hold on to. Not one single thing. Not for this meditation. If you want after the meditation to pick these things back up, please feel free to do so. I never want to infringe on your life in any way. And I'm not here to try to persuade you or convince you of anything. This is all about just inviting you to really kind of explore what would happen if I let go of everything? What would happen if I let go of all of my past and all my worries and fears about the future? And what would happen if I let go of all of my opinions and my self-righteousness? Just what would happen with that? What would happen if I let go of everything that I've even ever learned? Now, this can stir up the mind to be a bit busy at times in the mind, and your mind might say, well, wait a minute. I worked hard for everything that I've learned. And in fact, it's what got me where I am today. It's been helpful. It's true. What you've learned has got you here today, and it's got you here today to see that there is something more than your mind. When you have a thought and you're aware of that thought, what or who is that? Who makes these decisions when your mind says you are not enough? Do you agree with the mind? Or is there something greater that tells you something is not right with that? I don't feel that's the truth. And yes, it doesn't mean that we haven't bought into it at all, but it does mean that we can buy into it, but still recognize it's not the truth. And so my question is to you, who is this one? What is this that is aware of all of your thoughts? You're meditating and you have the thought that, man, I'm just having a tough time with my boss. I really don't like them. So you're aware of the thought. Are you the thought or are you the one that is aware of it? We've gone over this a lot of times, and sometimes I get, new people in, of course, on the videos and stuff. But I would honestly say that there's really no more important thing than recognizing that you are not your thoughts. That is really what all of this comes down to. And Eckhart Tolle gave a description of awakening, and he said, when the awareness and the mind separate, the mind being all your thoughts, and then, of course, when you have a thought and you believe the thought, you have a feeling that follows it. So if you have a so-called negative thought, you have a negative feeling. If you have a negative or positive thought, you have a positive feeling. Meanwhile, you are the witness to all of those thoughts and feelings. So the awakening is simply when you are coming from the place of awareness to notice the thoughts, notice the feelings, but recognize that is not who you are. And we talk about the things that come and go, right? The thoughts come and go, your feelings come and go, your experiences come and go, your body will eventually go, your mind will eventually go. What is it that is left? What is it that's left? If we're truly to awaken to the truth of who we are, we have to get beyond all those things that come and go, and to see what remains. And again, I don't need you to believe me with any of this. My task, my commitment to you isn't to get you to believe what I'm saying. I'm simply offering you an opportunity to empty out so fully and so completely that only one thing can remain, and that is the truth of who you are, which is your God essence, which is one with God, which is God. That's the only thing that you can never, ever get rid of. That's the only thing that will never, ever come and go. That's the only thing you cannot empty out. So when I invite you to let go of all these thoughts and beliefs and feelings, and even let go of all your knowledge and all your memories, because remember, if you're if you look to your mind for all your knowledge, all your memories, then what happens when the mind dies along with the body? So if you believe that you are something eternal, and I'm not trying to convince you that you are, but you have to recognize, if there's a possibility that you are eternal, then it means that you can't look to those things that are mortal and that will pass away, that will fade away. You can't look to those for your eternal truth of who you are. It doesn't match up. I did a talk yesterday at the Unity of Grand Rapids, and it was such a nice experience, a good experience. It was. I drove over there because we lost power at my. We didn't have power at my mom's place. We drove back yesterday, and we went over there because I had a talk at Grand Rapids, and South Haven's only about an hour away. So I was going to go over Sunday morning, just do my talk, and come back to South Haven where Laura and Maverick, my wife and son, were at. And we just made the choice after staying Friday night in the hotel with our puppy, just like, let's just head on home. So I came back over on Sunday morning. I got up early to travel to Grand Rapids. I was listening to songs, chanting songs, Muji music, and I was just so in my heart. And I was so rooted in peace. And I walk into the church, and they had lost their internet. The sound person was sick, and they couldn't get a replacement. So the person who was the platform assistant, who was doing announcements and introductions, that sort of thing, she said, I can do the sound because I don't feel that well either. Let me do the sound, and then I will. And then the one of the board members said, I can be platform assistant and make announcements and introduce. And also one of their members, congregation members, had passed away on Friday, who was the wife of the president of the board. And so we really walked in. I walked in where they said it's a bit crazy this morning, and you could feel that there was a bit of tension and struggle. But I felt so at peace. I felt so grounded. I felt so, I want to say, flowing with life and flowing with God, that I felt like my peace could not be disturbed. And this was coming off of not having any power and water when we got to my mom's on Friday evening, and just sorting through all that, and the frustrations by my sister, and also her feeling bad because we didn't have the utilities, which I don't even know if it was her fault. Could have been my brothers. It could have been the utility companies. I don't know who did what, and it didn't matter to me. I just said to her, "It's okay. It's okay because this is what life has presented." I just got to tap on this. So the spirit caught my attention on this. I'm going to just let this whole thing go. I want to say, though, really my point is the situation never, ever has anything to do with whether you get to choose and experience peace or not. And we sometimes don't recognize that because we're so caught up in all the busyness of the thoughts, and more importantly, believing the thoughts. Because as soon as we start believing the thoughts, and again, the feelings follow up with that. The negative feelings. If you're thinking, having negative thoughts, and you believe them, you're going to have negative feelings. So if you can be simply a witness to the thoughts and a witness to the feelings, actually, the feelings really don't even present themselves, because as soon as you are a witness to the thoughts and you allow them to pass on by, many times you're not even caught in the negative feelings because you recognize, oh, it's just the mind being busy. I don't need to engage these thoughts because it's not the truth of who I am. And let me just allow these to gently and effortlessly pass on by, and come back to my breath, or come back to the present moment where peace resides. And so I did that yesterday at at the talk, and I noticed there was a feeling of chaos and stress, and because I was so rooted in my heart and in peace, I just said, how about we just do a prayer, a short prayer? I know everyone's busy, but everyone right away said, yes, 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 let's do that. And we just took a few minutes and we did a prayer. We gave all of our troubles, our worries over to God, and we put our trust and faith that everything was unfolding exactly as it needs to. And we quite often forget that when we're feeling challenged with life. But just because we're feeling challenged doesn't mean that peace isn't still there. Because actually, and this was the title of the talk yesterday, your natural state is peace. So, peace and the truth of who you are is always there. It's just whether you are accessing it in a time of what's feeling challenging. That's all. And I truly had nothing rehearsed or said. I didn't even rehearse it in my mind yesterday for the talk. I just listened to the chanting music moving me into my heart. I didn't know anything that I would say, but I had such a deep trust and faith that the words would come through just like they are now. And it's not because I'm special. It's not because some other teacher is special or more special than you. We all have this same ability. And it's simply when we're rooted in our heart, we're rooted in the truth of who we are, and God is expressing itself through us. That's all. And I'm just fortunate because I've had a lot of practice of it. I've had plenty of fears about it. I've had plenty of doubts about it. Will the words come through? Will I be able to serve? Will I be able to support? Those are all stories of the mind. And when we come back to our true self, we see from that stillness, from that peace, from that silence, the words and the actions are always there waiting for us. The intelligence is there waiting for us. The wisdom is there waiting for us. But so often we're so caught in our head and what we think the truth is, and how we think we should respond, and what we think we should say, and what action we think we should take, that we never get to that part that is beyond the thinking and is a natural expression and truth of who we are. But actually, the truth of who you are is even beyond expression. It is simply the stillness and silent witness within that is beyond anything physical, mental, emotional, or ultimately even spiritual. It is probably I can't say that it's beyond spiritual, but I also don't want to say that it's any spiritual labels, because when you get into a label, then you're back into the head, which is describing the situation. And you, the truth of who you are, is simply beyond description. You will hear all the teachers, the Mujis, the Eckhart Tolles, the Deepak Chopras, whoever you want to look to, the Sadhgurus. There's nobody that has the words that can simply just take you to enlightenment. It's not possible because it's beyond words and descriptions. And so, what you hear a lot of teachers do is provide you either with a technique or provide you with words to see what you're holding on to, and then you can let go of those things that you're holding on to so that the truth of who you are remains. I'm so excited about the retreat this weekend, this coming weekend. um, just really excited, grateful, ready, just ready. And mm, yeah, and I feel so. Mm, well, let me just leave that alone. Right now, I just invite you just to come back to being aware of your breath. Just being aware of your breath. This beautiful breath that happens over and over and over again without any need for you to try or any effort or any doing this. The body is breathing all by itself, which is why the breath is so wonderful for meditation, because as soon as you notice the breath, it immediately connects you with the awareness and the truth of who you are, which is the witness to the breath, the awareness of the breath. Simply observing it without needing to analyze it or fix it or change it. There's no effort or trying. And so it naturally is this beautiful tool for bringing you back to the present moment and bringing you back home to who you are, which is simply the conscious witness. Or as Ram Dass would say, the loving conscious witness, because your natural state is love, is peace, is joy. And when we talk about you are not the emotions, you are not the emotions. Well, people say, well, wait a minute. What about the love that I feel and the joy? The love and the joy and the peace are actually not an emotional state. It's actually a permanent state. It's the very living truth of who you are. It's the very living truth of who you are, which is beyond anything emotional. You just are love. You just are peace. You just are joy. But I even want you to drop those labels. Drop all the labels about who you think you are, all of them. Because it's only by dropping all the labels, all the stories, all the self images, by dropping those, and then when you have nothing left except for the silence, except for the stillness, then you can perhaps get a glimpse of the truth of who you are. And I want to say this again, and I feel like I want to tweak this just a little bit. Who you are is the one that is beyond anything mental, beyond the mind, and there's a stillness because there are no words, there are no thoughts, there are no feelings involved with the stillness. There is just this silence. And that silence is beyond any concepts or conditions or self images or any thoughts, feelings, or beliefs. It's just still. And one of my favorite verses out of the Bible is, be still and know that I am God. And it will be in that silence, in that stillness, that you will recognize God and you will recognize yourself and you will recognize God as yourself. And so, right now, I invite you to sink so fully into this present moment that there you let go of all resistance to life and to God. Let go of all resistance. What does that mean? What does that look like? It means that for the time being, for this meditation, you let go of all your attachments, all your desires, anything that you say or think or feel, or I should say your mind says, thinks, or feels, or your person, that idea of who you think you are, any attachments or desires it says it has to have in order for you to be happy. I'm inviting you for right now just to let go of all of that, so that you can say for this meditation, Father, you bring me whatever you want to bring me. I'm not going to resist any of it. I'm not going to resist any thoughts or feelings. I'm not going to resist any experiences that you want to bring to me. I'm just going to be melt into this present moment and give you complete and total permission to bring to me whatever experience, thought, belief, feeling that you want to bring to me. I am at your service. I am at your grace. I am at your mercy. Sometimes this will conjure up fear within the mind because the mind says, no, 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 that's not okay. I have boundaries. I want to stay safe. I want to be protected. And that's okay. You can make that choice. But ultimately, to experience the fullness of yourself and of God, it means letting go of this belief that God and life are not already on your side and that they're here to give you something as a way of punishing you, or I don't know what the right word is. It doesn't mean you won't be challenged, because what is a challenge? A challenge is where the mind says that I don't like this situation. I want the situation to be different than what it is. That's what the mind says. The heart says, thank you, Father. Thank you for everything that you're giving me, because I have trust and faith that it's exactly what I need. Even though my mind tells me otherwise, I know it's exactly what I need. So it's only your mind that fights the situation. It's only your mind that feels it needs to be protected, even. It's only that your mind that sets up the boundaries. The heart is boundaryless, and it's so submitted to God, so immersed in God, so submissive, maybe that's the word I'm looking for, to God, that it says, you know what, God, whatever you bring me, I know it's exactly what I need. It's perfect, and I'm not going to fight you on any of it. That is what it means to fully immerse yourself in the present moment, where there are no boundaries. And I love the words of my teacher Sadashiva, where he said, the path of the sage is ruthless. There simply are no boundaries. And I'm not saying that boundaries aren't needed early on in our path. They are absolutely needed. We feel a victim, we feel picked on with life, and then we come to the awareness like, that's not okay with me. That's beautiful when a person comes to that they're making this statement that they're worthy enough to not be abused mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And they say, no, 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 that is not okay with me. And then as they become more secure in themselves, that they recognize that they are more than that, then they say, you know what? I'm ready to release these boundaries, because I want to just merge with the beauty and the oneness of who I am and who God is. And so just coming back to being aware of your breath, just noticing it. And while you're just being a witness to the breath, your thoughts, your mind may get busy. And if it does, just simply notice the thought, and you don't need to analyze it or fight against it or fix it or engage it in any way. Sometimes people do self-talk because they're like, now, Brad, it's okay. I know you're being judgmental right now, but let's not, you don't need to be judgmental. And, or they might say, have compassion. It's okay that you're being judgmental. Ultimately, really, you don't need to engage the mind, even with the love and compassion. Just simply notice the thought and allow it to pass on by, because you recognize that you are not the thought, and there's no sense engaging it, which only enlivens it and makes it real in the first place. So if your mind gets busy, simply notice it. And as soon as you do, allow the thought to gently and effortlessly pass on by and come back to being aware of the breath, which brings you back home to who you are. And if your mind is busy, just simply notice that and come back to being aware of the breath. And I feel sometimes Spirit uses me as an example. And I've noticed that somewhere along the line in my words, I I feel disconnected, a bit disconnected, not entirely, but I'm noticing feeling disconnected. I'm noticing my mind doesn't like that experience. And I'm noticing my mind also wanting to reconnect. But sometimes, in order to reconnect, we just have to simply acknowledge and even allow for the disconnection. So, a lot of times, we're trying to desperately get back to reconnecting, but the trying to reconnect is not an effective method, because it only puts us more in our heads. So, when we're feeling disconnected, simply notice it. Oh, okay, I notice I'm disconnected. Can I just allow for this disconnection to be, allow for the thought, and allow with whatever feeling is accompanying it? Because there is a feeling for me right now that's like, I don't like this. It doesn't feel good. It's okay. So I'm just going to allow that thought and allow that feeling to be there without any pushback, without any fight. I'm simply going to be present and aware of it and not make the experience bad or wrong. Because when you can accept the so called negative thoughts and negative feelings, then you can still be at peace with them, right? Acceptance is where peace resides. If I accept my disconnection, I'm recognizing that it's not me that's disconnected. I'm at peace with it. It's okay. It's okay. And my mind says, well, yeah, it's really not okay. I don't like that feeling. Okay. Can I just allow that thought and feeling to be as it is? It's okay. And you might have to keep backing it up. And the mind might say, no, it's not okay. Can you be okay with it not being okay? But there is peace to be had, and it's just allowing the thoughts and the feelings to be right where they are without needing them to be any different. And so, once again, just coming back to being aware of your breath. And if your mind has drifted, just simply coming back to being aware of your breath. So we're going to begin to finish up with a meditation. If you'd like to continue meditating, just turn your or mute your device and meditate for as little or as long as you want after this. And thank you so much for joining today. And for those of you who are ready to finish, just taking in a nice deep breath and just making sure you're energizing your body, filling up your lungs, just bringing some life energy back into this wonderful body, stretching, moving around, and taking your time. And whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to head over to Facebook and just see, let's see. Sandy, actually, I'll start with you because I see you already posted. Good morning. Yes, I tuned in on Saturday for a few minutes. Yeah, that's all you could get in, I guess, right? Yeah, it didn't go well. Okay, let me head over to Facebook here, and if anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to post those. And thank you, Brett. Namaste. Michelle says, thanks, Michelle. Thanks so much for joining. And Cheryl is here as well. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, my friend. So I know there's another person out there. I don't know if you want to say hi, but thank you for joining. And let's see here. And I think that's about it. So if anybody wants to make any further comments, they can. Thanks for joining me on meditation, and I'll look forward to meditating with you tomorrow. All right. Namaste, my friends. Have a beautiful day. Oh, okay. Let's see. Whoops. Let's see. Mary Ann Stackpool. Hi, Mary Ann. Namaste, my friend. Namaste. And let's see. And then Cheryl says, have a great day today. I will, Cheryl. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, guys. Have a